Hi, and welcome to day 30 of 365 days of art. I can't believe I've been doing this for a month now. It's starting to feel a little more routine. I want to say it's 2 to 3 months of doing a new activity that it takes for you to really get that routine in your life. So here's hoping. I'm gonna keep trying. Definitely keep going if you're doing this, whether you're doing videos or just trying to implement something new in your life. Day by day, you just take it one step at a time. I know I've had a couple of days where video's been loaded super late in the day, but I'm starting to get better, starting to get a routine. So whatever you've got going on in your life, just keep moving forward, keep learning. And hey, if you are trying to start a channel like I'm doing right now, then all I can say is that you just have to start. It's been 30 days. I don't necessarily have a lot of viewers, so to the few people that watch my videos, you rock, and I appreciate that you're here. But even watching, really famous people that do videos and stuff like that, all of them are gonna say the same thing. I'm gonna say the same thing at the beginning to remind myself if I ever get discouraged. You just have to start somewhere. And just to give you an idea of what I've accomplished in a month, and I mean 30 days really isn't that long when you're starting something new, but already I've gotten faster at doing these intros and outros. They don't take me as many takes anymore. I've gotten more comfortable in front of the camera, being able to really address my viewers, talk to you guys. It's a lot easier. I've gotten better at editing. I learned how to do the fast forward in my video editor, so that is crazy helpful, especially for art videos. I've learned how to do that voiceover and interject more commentary over that. So anything that you guys still want to see from me, definitely let me know. Getting to today's project though, as you can see behind me, day 29 and 28, I have the leaves and the watercolor flowers that I had practiced under instruction of another video tutorial. So I'm gonna go ahead and take what I've learned. I'm gonna try to learn from my one-stroke video. So I'm gonna take the leaves and the flowers that I've already learned and try to compose them into my own pretty, little picture and not get too crazy, not step outside of the box yet. And then I'm thinking tomorrow I'm gonna look up a reference photo and see if I can't take the skills that I've learned and apply them into my own understanding entirely, to looking at a picture and going, okay, can I break that down and how do I actually paint that in watercolor, which is gonna be its own thing. So for today though, sticking with these leaves and flowers, let's paint. Here we go. I have my Japanese watercolors ready. Even though that those are in pans, just a reminder, you want to use a separate pan to actually mix your colors in. You don't want to mix them in the actual watercolor pans. There are my 3 brushes that I'm going to stick to, except for later in the video you're going to see I use one more brush. I do pull out my script liner for some thin lines, but these 3 do a pretty good job. Here we go, and I'm sorry, right at the beginning here, it looks a little bit like I'm painting nothing, but I'm actually painting in those super light daisies, and I'm getting that color with a mixture of white, lavender, and just the slightest hint of black, because I don't have any gray on hand. So that's the nice thing about watercolors that I've been seeing, is that normally with acrylics you would want to mix your different colors together to get different colors, different hues, warm it up or make a cool color, whereas with watercolor it really is just about putting it ever so lightly on the paper. It's more about using more water or less water. You can get an entirely different color from using a ton of water to using the color directly from the pan, and it's going to seem crazy dark in comparison. But as they dry, you can see them showing up just a little bit more, and I'll add some shading to those daisies to make them pop. See, there we go. You can see their edges just a little bit. I wanted this to feel really soft. A little bit of gray, less water. There's that script liner that I pulled out. I wanted it just to get those nice thin lines for the lavender. And nothing really works better than a script liner. Back to my little brush. I'm actually not terribly happy with how this first stock of lavender came out, but with watercolor you just kind of have to keep going forward. It's really hard to correct. I've read a couple of forums on that just in my spare time, and there are ways to correct it, but it just never looks quite the same. So I decided to just let it be, to not overwork it. Sometimes things come out much worse and look worse when we just try to work them too hard, where if we leave well enough alone sometimes, they'll work themselves out. And it's not the focal piece of this particular piece anyway, so little mistakes can be overlooked in the background. I love lavender. I feel like it's just so calming and soft. A little bit of detail. I went in and grabbed a darker purple. This is color actually directly from the pan. I just wetted my brush and dipped it right in there and then put it on the page. If it's feeling like it's too much, it's too dark, or you have too much water, you can always dab it on a paper towel. This is where I have to fight myself, because the beauty of that is the wispiness and kind of the irregularities of it. And sometimes I'll overthink it. And when I say sometimes, I mean all the time. I overthink things quite a bit, and then I want to keep touching it. So this has been very excellent practice in reminding me just when to be a little looser with something, and also when to just let something sit and not mess with it, let it be its own unique thing. And here we go. Now this is probably the biggest part of the piece that I was excited for. I really wanted this flower to come out beautiful, and it did. It's just not as big as I wanted. I realized it took me a minute as I was assessing it. I wanted to make this much bigger. I really wanted this flower to take up the corner piece. So I honestly should have put it in before the lavender, and that's something I'm not used to when doing a painting with acrylic. I would do it like this. I would paint, my background forward and be able to overlap pieces, and I wasn't thinking about the fact that with watercolor, I should have definitely put in that large piece first and filled in around it, because I couldn't paint over that lavender. That's kind of my darkest color on the page there, so I wasn't going to be able to cover that up like I had quite envisioned. So I filled in these little flowers around it, which added more color to the page that I felt was missing, but they weren't quite the array that I wanted. I'm still very happy with those daisies and kind of those sakura looking flowers that are up there in the corner. Those I love, and again, I feel like I probably should have did those in the right order, done my flower down there at the corner, maybe filled in their stems, and then put in my lavender, and I would have been able to plan where my leaves and my stems were going to go just a little bit better. So watercolor, definitely you can do like I did and kind of just wing it, and it still came out fun. But if there's something that you're really going for, I think planning stages for this is right up there with importance, because it's not one where you can really overlap colors to cover something up if you didn't like it, because they'll kind of blend together on the page. They are transparent for a reason. I mean, that's the whole point of this style. Tried to fill in the leaf. just little details here and there, trying to make everything pop. I had to wait for it to dry before coming in with a darker color to be able to separate my petals. If you go on it while it's wet, all your colors are just gonna bleed in together, and that's not what we're going for. And the splatter. I just love splatter. It helps. I think especially in situations like this where I knew I didn't want to add any more to the page and make it busy, splatter just adds a little extra color in the white space where you feel like it's still just very flat. And overall, I'm okay with it. Again, I wish that flower in the corner had come out a lot bigger, and if I do something similar to this tomorrow, I'll definitely make that my goal, is to plan out my big pieces and know exactly where they're going. So this is a whole new dimension of how layers work and exactly how you have to approach each piece, especially with like those daisies in the background and the sakura flowers. There's no way I could layer those over anything, but I super love them. I think the daisies are my favorite. That was really a lot of fun. I feel confident in going forward tomorrow and trying to do something entirely different from a reference photo. I'm not quite sure what it's going to be just yet, but this is the way I really like to learn. Everybody has their own approach to things, but just so you can get a feel for what I like to do is I like to get taught something, you know, see some techniques, try to apply what I've seen, and then just play on my own with what I've learned. I like this approach because it allows me to show myself what I've learned, I get to apply the techniques I've learned, but then also I get to see, do I really understand it? Do I only understand it in this application? And what do I still need to be taught? What do I need somebody to actually tell me and walk me through step by step so that I can see, that was my problem area, okay, and then go back and apply and play again. That's just the way that I like to approach things. Either way, I would love to know what you're up to, maybe the way that you like to approach learning new techniques or just anything hanging out. Hit me up down in the comments. If you liked the video, I would love if you clicked like and also subscribe. I put out new videos every day. See you guys tomorrow. Bye.